Salt spray stung my eyes, the roar of the waves filled my ears. My small boat, tossed like a toy, finally crashed against the shore. I clung to the wreckage, battered and bruised. Dragging myself onto the beach, I collapsed on the warm sand. I was alive. That was all that mattered. I'd been at sea for days, lost in a storm that stole my ship and crew. Now I was stranded, alone. Fear gnawed at me, but I pushed it down. This was no time for panic. This was the time to survive. I had to assess my surroundings, find shelter, and most importantly, find water. The beach stretched out before me, empty and endless. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze, promising shade. Behind the beach, dense jungle beckoned, a green wall of the unknown. I was a castaway, shipwrecked and uncertain of my fate. The vastness of the ocean terrified me. It was both a source of life and a barrier to civilization. I had no way to signal for help, no way to contact the outside world. I was utterly and completely alone. But I would not give in to despair. I had to be strong. I had to survive. The sun beat down mercilessly. I needed shelter, and fast. Trudging along the beach, I gathered large palm leaves and branches washed ashore by the tide. Using vines I found twisting through the undergrowth, I tied these together to form a makeshift framework. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The shelter provided some shade from the scorching sun, and a small measure of protection from the elements. As I settled into my new home, I realized that survival was about taking things one step at a time. I had a roof over my head. Now, I needed to find food and water. Days turned into nights. Hunger gnawed at my stomach. Thirst parched my throat. I knew my body wouldn't last long without sustenance. I ate strange berries, cautiously praying they weren't poisonous. Some tasted sweet, others bitter. Water was my biggest challenge. Rain became my savior. I used large leaves to collect the precious drops, storing them in coconut shells I found scattered on the beach. The taste was heavenly. Each sip was a victory against the unforgiving environment. I was learning to adapt, to use what nature provided. Fire. I needed fire for warmth, for cooking, for comfort. For days I tried to create a spark. I gathered dry tinder, found a hard piece of wood for my fireboard, and a thinner stick for my spindle. Hour after hour, I rubbed the spindle between my palms, pressing it against the fireboard, willing it to ignite. My hands ached, blisters formed and broke. Just as I was about to give up, a wisp of smoke curled from the tinder. I blew gently, nurturing the ember into a flame. The fire crackled, a beacon of hope in the growing darkness. I had tamed a primal force. I was no longer just surviving, I was living. The days grew into weeks. I settled into a routine, a rhythm dictated by the sun and the tide, yet something strange was happening. The beach, it seemed to be expanding. Each morning I woke to find the shoreline had crept further out to sea. At first I dismissed it. Perhaps it was just the tide playing tricks on me, but as the days passed, the change became undeniable. The island was growing. I felt a surge of hope. Was this a sign, a chance for rescue? Or was it a new danger I couldn't understand? The expansion of the island was both fascinating and terrifying. What was once a sliver of sand was now a sprawling landmass. The jungle behind the beach grew denser, teeming with life, both beautiful and dangerous. New dangers emerged, venomous snakes, larger predators. But with the dangers came new opportunities. I discovered a freshwater spring deep within the island's heart. I found fruit trees laden with exotic, delicious fruits. The island was providing for me, testing me, shaping me into someone more resilient than I ever thought possible. Living on the island, alone with my thoughts, taught me things I never learned in the clamor of civilization. I learned the value of patience, the importance of observation. I learned that true strength lies not in physical prowess, but in the will to endure. Most importantly, I learned to appreciate the simple things. The warmth of the sun, the coolness of the breeze, the taste of fresh water. Things I'd taken for granted in my old life were now gifts, treasures to be cherished. The island had stripped me bare, forced me to confront my fears and weaknesses. In the process, it had made me whole. One day, a glint on the horizon, a sail. My heart leapt. Could it be? Was it real, or just another cruel trick of my mind? I raced to the beach, my heart pounding in my chest. The sail grew larger, resolving itself into the unmistakable silhouette of a ship. I laughed, a sound filled with disbelief and elation. I built a huge fire, the flames reaching high into the sky, a desperate plea for attention. The ship changed course, drawing closer. My ordeal was finally over. I was going home, but a part of me, a small wild part, would forever remain on that island, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope.